And we are back here with another video today. Today, we are looking at Ole Miss and their football predictions. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know if you enjoyed the content by liking it as well. Comment your thoughts and opinions as well. Help me reach the goal of 6,500 subscribers by the end of June. We are working our way there, about 130 away. So hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach that goal. As always, my name is Reichley Ruby, and let's get into today's video. So, as we look at Ole Miss football, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, that is Lane Kiffin, and his departure from Ole Miss and everything that went on there. But at the end of the day, this team still brings back Trinidad Chambliss, still brings back Kewan Lacey, still brings back a multitude of wide receivers. This is not a bad team. But at the same time, Lane Kiffin moving on to LSU, everything that went on to that with that. Well, it's going to make week 3 very, very, very interesting with the home game in Ole Miss territory against LSU. But with no further ado, let's get into today's video. So first game is a neutral site game against Louisville. This was one of the more interesting ones I had to predict, just because I think Louisville is a criminally underrated team. I think that this is a very good Louisville team, and I think Jeff Brom is a very good head coach. And don't get me wrong, Pete Golding and what he did in that playoff run is commendable. It is one of the best coaching performances I have seen in a while when it comes to just like a stretch of games. Obviously, a very good run. But I also think Jeff Brom is a good head coach, but I am going to rely on Ole Miss's talent, which I think is greater than Louisville's, to be able to get this win, along with the Trinidad Chambliss experience at quarterback and Lacey at running back. I think that the offensive firepower will be a bit too much for the Cardinals. Then a home game against Charlotte, easy win here. I'm not going to get further into it because there's going to be so many things to talk about in this video, but a win against a bad group of 5 school. Then the home game against LSU. And I know this is the one that a lot of people are looking for, a lot of people that are skipping forward just to this point in the video. And I think looking at this LSU game, it is going to be very, very interesting to see what it looks like come game day, because I feel like game day has to be there. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I feel like you have to be there. This is going to be just such an interesting game. Obviously, Lane Kiffin bringing in a lot of transfers in to the LSU program. Sam Leavitt, the most notable of them, the Arizona State quarterback, where he was the past few years, along with basically all transfers at the wide receiver positions. But Ole Miss, despite losing their head coach, which is generally a pretty tough thing for any given team, this is still a very well put together roster. The only thing that I could see issues with is I'd like to see where the defense is this year for Ole Miss in a game like this. Against a team like LSU, against an offense led by Lane Kiffin. But what I am going to do here to make all you Ole Miss fans happy, I'm giving the edge to the home team here in Ole Miss. I think that this matchup could go back and forth, and I think if it was later in the year or if it was on the road, I think that Ole Miss may pick up a loss there. But with it being at home and with it being week 3 of the season, I think that this is going to be one of the most interesting matchups, one of the most watched matchups of the whole year. But I think that it's going to be a game in which you're going to look at it and say, well, if LSU had played this game in week 11, maybe they would have won it. So I have that as a win there for Ole Miss, but I think that it'll be a very interesting game. Then a home game or a road game, my apologies, against Florida. I think that this is a win. Summerall in his first year at Florida still has a lot of pieces that he needs to put together before this is a very competitive team. So win there in the swamp, which is never an easy thing to do. Then you have a bye week before a road game against Vanderbilt. And I think Vanderbilt's in a bit of a rebuilding year with Clark Lee as their head coach. I think Clark Lee still absolutely tremendous effort at Vanderbilt as a head coach. And I think if you go back 2 years ago in 2023, I had them doing really well, and they ended up really kind of fizzling out. I think I had them going 6-6, and they went 2-10. And then the next year, Clark Lee proves me right, and they go, I think it was 8-4, 8-5 at the end of the year 2 years ago, and then had a good year last year as well. I think it was 9-4 was their overall record. But I don't think that the big loss here is Pavia as much as it is Eli Stowers. You just don't have that guy that can just be – he's a game wrecker. He's just plain and simple a game wrecker. There's so many places that you can put him at. Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator there at Vanderbilt, is just a fantastic mind when it came to using Stowers and putting him on different spots, matching him up with linebackers or safeties, and he's just a matchup nightmare. It doesn't matter whether you're a safety, then you're a little bit undersized against him, and he can play really physical against you. Or if you're a linebacker and you're a little bit too slow and you can't keep up with him. But that's a little bit of an oversimplification of Stowers' game. But either way, win, I think, against Vanderbilt. I think it's going to be a bit of a rebuilding year. And unlike Ole Miss, I think that this Vanderbilt team is going to take some time to be able to rebuild here. So I think that they have a win here. Then a home game against Missouri. I think a very interesting game here for Eli Drinkowitz and crew. I think Drinkowitz is one of the more underrated coaches in the SEC. But at the same time, I think Drinkowitz still has a lot of things that have to go right at Missouri to win a road game against a very talented Ole Miss team. So I have them winning this game and going undefeated to Texas. But I do think that this is where the losses start to come. I think that this is a loss here against Texas. I think that if this game was at home, I'd be a little more inclined to lean towards Ole Miss. But with this game on the road at Texas, I don't think Arch Manning is the greatest quarterback in the country. I don't think he is. Nor do I think he's the worst quarterback in the country. I think that he is an above average starting quarterback. But what most people forget, his wide receiver room is absolutely filled with all sorts of talented wide receivers. It doesn't matter where you look on the field. There is a talented wide receiver to throw to. And I think that the offensive firepower that they have there is fantastic, which is also something that you see with Ole Miss, with Chambliss and Lacey in the backfield, and then with the wide receivers all over the field with guys like Alexander and Gill and Cook. I think that they're all good wide receivers. The difference here, I think, is the defense that Texas has versus the defense that Ole Miss has. I just trust Ole Miss a lot, or Texas a lot more defensively than I trust Ole Miss. So loss there for the Rebels. Then a home game against Auburn. I think that this is another win here. I think that Alec Golish is a great hire at Auburn. I think he will do good things at Auburn. But right now, I have to pick Ole Miss and Golding, who just looked fantastic as a coach in the playoff. I think that he'll get a win here. Then a home game against Georgia. This one I went back and forth with multiple times, whether I'd have Georgia winning this, whether I'd have Ole Miss winning this. I'm going to give the win to Georgia, the loss to Ole Miss here. But this is an incredibly 50-50 game. Obviously, last year, the couple of matchups against Georgia, won the Sugar Bowl won the more important one, but lost the regular season one. I think that Kirby Smart gets the better of Golding here. And I just think that he's the better coach. And I get that a lot of Ole Miss fans highly favor Pete Golding right now. But right now, it's still Kirby Smart. It's still the guy that won back-to-back national championships. I can't argue with that. So a loss there for the Rebels. Then a road game against Oklahoma, and I'm going to throw in the only wild card I have on this schedule really so far. I have a loss there against the Oklahoma Sooners to give Ole Miss their third loss of the season, now 7-3 after starting out 6-0. The problem is with this Oklahoma team, I think defensively, Oklahoma is great. And offensively, it cannot get worse. It can't get worse. It really cannot. So I'm going to give the win here to the Rebels, to the Sooners, my apologies, with it being in Norman. But don't get me wrong, I could very much see this game going in favor of the Rebels if things don't work out with Mateer and the offense in Norman. But right now, I have that as a win there for the Sooners, loss for the Rebels. Game against Wofford, easy win there. I don't think you're going to have any issues. Wofford's not a good football program, never have been. I don't think ever will be. But either way, not even a good FCS school. I should preface that. It's not even like they're a good FCS school. Like they're not like Furman that has been a decent football school for the past few years. But either way, then there's a home game against Mississippi State, and I know you guys may be a little disappointed with 3 losses. I do give them a win here against Miss State. I do think that they're the better team. And I just don't think Lebby is the right fit at Mississippi State. I will have a video coming out about Mississippi State soon. So if you're a Miss State fan watching the Ole Miss video as a hater, then congrats to you. I appreciate it. But yeah, no, I have a win there for the Rebels finishing the year 9-3. Is that enough to make the playoffs? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll see. You never know. But that wraps up today's video. So make sure that you hit one of the 2 videos down below of all my college football predictions and hit the subscribe button up here for the best college football content on YouTube. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.